Who is Elon Musk? The mind behind Tesla, SpaceX, and the future of humanity. Elon Reeve Musk was born on June 28, 1971, in Pretoria, South Africa. Raised during the era of apartheid, his upbringing was complex and shaped by both privilege and tension. His father, Elon Musk, was an engineer, pilot, and property developer, while his mother, May Musk, was a model and dietitian. Elon was a quiet and introspective child who often buried himself in books and computers. At the age of 10, he taught himself how to program, and by 12, he created and sold a basic video game called Blastar. Musk's childhood was not easy. He was frequently bullied in school and described feeling like an outsider. He had an insatiable curiosity, reading everything from encyclopedias to science fiction novels. His early interests in science, technology, and exploration would lay the foundation for his future ambitions. After his parents divorced, Elon lived mostly with his father, a decision he would later regret, describing the experience as deeply traumatic. Despite these hardships, Elon remained focused on learning and dreaming. At 17, Musk moved to Canada to attend Queen's University, avoiding compulsory military service in South Africa. 2 years later, he transferred to the University of Pennsylvania, where he earned degrees in physics and economics. Even as a student, Musk's ambitions were enormous. He believed the internet, renewable energy, and space travel were the keys to humanity's future. While his peers were content with traditional career paths, Musk dreamed of changing the world and beyond. After graduation, he deferred a PhD at Stanford University in California, choosing instead to dive headfirst into the exploding tech scene of the 1990s. Just 2 days into his program, he dropped out, founding his first company, Zip2, with his brother Kimball. This marked the beginning of Musk's meteoric rise. Zip2 was founded in 1996, during the early days of the internet boom. The company's mission was to help newspapers build an online presence by providing business directories, maps, and navigation. While the idea may sound ordinary by today's standards, it was cutting edge at the time. Elon and Kimball struggled initially, living in a small rented office space where Elon famously slept on a beanbag and showered at the local YMCA. He coded all night, and the brothers pitched their service by day. Zip2 began gaining traction when major newspapers started signing up. The company attracted investors, and Elon was eventually pushed into a less prominent leadership role in favor of a more experienced CEO. Still, when Compaq acquired Zip2 for $307 million in 1999, Elon's share earned him $22 million at the age of 27. He reinvested most of this money into his next venture, X.com. X.com was launched with a bold vision: to revolutionize the banking and payment industry by offering a full online financial platform. Musk's idea was to digitize everything from checking accounts to insurance through a single interface. In 2000, X.com merged with a company called Confinity, which had developed a money transfer service called PayPal. Musk was the largest shareholder, and despite being replaced again as CEO, he remained central to the company's growth. In 2002, eBay acquired PayPal for $1.5 billion in stock. Musk walked away with $180 million. With financial freedom now secured, Elon could pursue his true ambitions. While most would retire at that point, he was just getting started. Space exploration had fascinated him since childhood. He wanted to do something significant, something that could push humanity forward. He founded SpaceX, Space Exploration Technologies Corporation in 2002 with the audacious goal of reducing the cost of space travel and making Mars colonization a reality. SpaceX's beginnings were rocky. Elon invested $100 million of his own money and assembled a team of engineers and rocket scientists. But in its first few years, the company faced multiple failed launches, financial stress, and mounting criticism. Many experts believed SpaceX would collapse. In 2008, after 3 failed launches of the Falcon 1 rocket, the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. Then came the 4th launch. Falcon 1 reached orbit. It was a historic moment, making SpaceX the first privately developed liquid-fueled rocket to achieve Earth orbit. That same year, NASA awarded SpaceX a $1.6 billion contract for cargo resupply missions to the International Space Station. Musk had proven the skeptics wrong, but he didn't slow down. In 2004, while still deeply involved in SpaceX, he joined Tesla Motors, a young electric vehicle startup founded by Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning. Elon invested $6.5 million and soon took a hands-on role in shaping the company's direction. Tesla's mission was to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy, beginning with high-performance electric cars. Tesla, like SpaceX, faced immense challenges: technical, financial, and public. Early prototypes of the Roadster were plagued with delays and cost overruns. Critics said electric cars would never be fast, cool, or commercially viable. But Musk persisted, often dipping into his own funds to keep the company afloat. In 2008, the same year SpaceX succeeded with Falcon 1, Tesla finally delivered its first Roadster. It was a sleek, powerful electric sports car that shattered stereotypes and caught the attention of car enthusiasts and environmentalists alike. By 2010, Tesla went public, but the road ahead remained turbulent. The launch of the Model S sedan in 2012 was critical. The car was a breakthrough, luxurious, fast, and with long battery range. It won numerous awards and helped redefine the electric vehicle landscape. Still, production challenges and Tesla short sellers created constant pressure. Musk, known for his relentless work ethic, was working 80 to 100 hours per week, often sleeping in the factory during production crises. Meanwhile, SpaceX launched the Falcon 9, then the Falcon Heavy, and landed reusable boosters, something once thought impossible. These technological feats drastically reduced launch costs and redefined what private space companies could achieve. NASA began relying heavily on SpaceX, and other governments and commercial clients followed. But Musk wasn't done. In 2015, he announced the formation of OpenAI, aiming to ensure artificial intelligence would benefit humanity. In 2016, he founded Neuralink to develop brain-machine interfaces, and the Boring Company to create underground tunnels for transport. Each of these ventures stemmed from Musk's central obsession: solving humanity's biggest existential risks, from climate change to population stagnation and AI dominance. Neuralink, though still in its early stages, captured the imagination of technologists and ethicists alike. Musk's vision was to create a direct link between the human brain and machines, enabling humans to keep pace with increasingly powerful artificial intelligence. The idea was as controversial as it was ambitious. Critics worried about ethical implications, privacy risks, and long-term societal impacts. Supporters hailed it as the next frontier in cognitive enhancement. Though the company faced technological and regulatory hurdles, Musk pressed forward, unveiling prototypes and demonstrating rudimentary brain activity readings from animal subjects. The ultimate goal, according to him, was to cure neurological diseases, restore mobility, and eventually enable full symbiosis with AI. The Boring Company, by contrast, began almost as a joke, a tweet complaining about traffic in Los Angeles. Musk claimed he would build a tunnel boring machine and just start digging. What began as an offhand comment became a company focused on solving urban transportation problems through a network of underground tunnels. Though critics dismissed it as a distraction from his more pressing ventures, Musk pushed forward, building test tunnels and showcasing the Loop transport system, autonomous electric vehicles traveling through narrow underground tubes. It was another example of Musk's tendency to take absurd ideas and make them real through relentless iteration and bold execution. By this time, Elon Musk had cemented his status not just as a tech CEO, but as a global cultural figure. His Twitter account became a platform for company updates, memes, controversial opinions, and unfiltered thoughts. He used it to announce major Tesla and SpaceX developments, troll short sellers, clash with journalists, and communicate directly with the public. His tweets moved markets, literally. A single post could cause stock prices to surge or plummet. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, took notice. In 2018, Musk tweeted that he had secured funding to take Tesla private at $420 per share. The tweet triggered a federal investigation, resulting in a settlement with the SEC. Musk stepped down as Tesla's chairman and paid millions in fines. Still, the incident only added to his notoriety and mystique. Elon Musk's public persona became a topic of endless fascination. Some saw him as a modern-day Edison or Tesla, a visionary willing to take bold risks to push humanity forward. Others viewed him as reckless, erratic, and driven by ego. He was both admired and reviled. Journalists, scientists, investors, and fans tried to decipher the man behind the mission. What made Musk so relentless? What fueled his near-obsessive work ethic? He claimed to work up to 120 hours per week during times of crisis, and employees described his management style as intense and demanding. He expected extreme dedication and often led by example, sleeping in Tesla factories, working through holidays, and holding brutally honest meetings. His approach was not without fallout. There were lawsuits, allegations of a toxic work culture, reports of overwork, and criticism for his handling of labor issues and safety concerns. Still, the results were undeniable. Tesla became the world's most valuable car company, with a market capitalization surpassing giants like Toyota and Ford. SpaceX launched astronauts to the International Space Station and began deploying the Starlink satellite internet network. Musk's ventures were no longer science fiction. They were shaping real-world infrastructure, commerce, and society. In 2020, amid a global pandemic, Musk's companies continued to expand. Tesla opened new gigafactories in Shanghai, Berlin, and Texas. Starship, SpaceX's next-generation rocket designed for missions to Mars, underwent rapid development, with dramatic prototype launches and explosive landings that Musk called learning experiences. His fortune soared. For a time, he became the richest person in the world, only to be overtaken again by others like Jeff Bezos or Bernard Arnault. Yet Musk claimed that wealth was not his motivator. He insisted that nearly all of his fortune was tied up in his companies, and that his primary goal was to ensure a future for humanity, ideally a multi-planetary one. Then came the Twitter saga. In 2022, Musk initiated a controversial $44 billion bid to acquire Twitter. He claimed the platform needed to be more open, less censored, and more supportive of free speech. The acquisition was chaotic. Musk fired top executives, laid off thousands of employees, unbanned previously suspended accounts, and introduced a paid verification system. Critics argued that Twitter under Musk became more unstable, politically charged, and prone to misinformation. Supporters saw it as a much-needed shake-up of a tech company that had become too ideological and controlled. Through it all, Musk insisted that the goal was to create a digital town square where all voices could be heard. As Twitter transformed under Musk's leadership, he rebranded the platform to simply X, marking the beginning of a broader vision, turning the platform into an everything app. Inspired by the super app models popular in Asia, particularly WeChat in China, Musk envisioned X as a place where users could post content, communicate, shop, make payments, and even access banking services. It was not just a rebranding exercise, it was a blueprint for a complete digital ecosystem, centralized around identity, freedom of expression, and commerce. Whether he would succeed in this transformation remained uncertain, but the ambition reflected a familiar theme in Musk's career, thinking at a scale few dared to consider. The X rebrand tied back to Musk's early love of the letter. From X.com in his PayPal days to SpaceX and the Tesla Model X, the symbol represented the unknown, the experimental, the intersection between science and imagination. To Musk, the X was more than branding. It was a personal signature on the architecture of the future. Outside of business, Musk's personal life attracted just as much public attention. He has been married multiple times, including twice to actress Tallulah Riley, and has had relationships with musician Grimes and actress Amber Heard. With Grimes, Musk fathered multiple children, one of whom was famously named XAE12, a name that stirred both fascination and confusion. Musk has spoken about his desire to have many children as part of a broader concern about global population decline, which he considers one of humanity's greatest underappreciated risks. His relationship with his children, particularly his estranged daughter, who changed her name and gender identity, has also been a source of controversy. While Musk has expressed support for transgender rights in some statements, he has also criticized what he perceives as ideological extremism related to gender and identity, leading to accusations of insensitivity and hypocrisy. These tensions reflect the broader public divide around Musk. Some view him as brutally honest, others as needlessly provocative. Despite, or perhaps because of, his contradictions, Musk remains an object of intense global fascination. He defies categorization. He is an engineer who leads marketing with memes, a billionaire who claims to sleep in factories, a libertarian who builds space programs, a futurist obsessed with ancient philosophical risks. His belief in simulation theory, that our reality might be an artificial construct, is not a passing thought, but a genuine worldview he has shared publicly. To him, human consciousness, civilization, and purpose must be preserved not just for today, but for the distant future across planets and possibly beyond. SpaceX remains at the core of this vision. The company's Starship project is the most ambitious space initiative ever attempted by a private company. Designed to be a fully reusable, heavy-lift rocket capable of transporting cargo and humans to the Moon, Mars, and possibly further, Starship is a technological behemoth. Its development is happening in Boca Chica, Texas, what Musk calls Starbase, a remote location turned high-tech hub of experimental engineering. The rocket's early tests have resulted in multiple spectacular explosions, which Musk consistently reframes as part of the learning curve. NASA has signed on to use Starship as part of its Artemis program to return humans to the moon. Musk, meanwhile, speaks of building a Martian city, 1 million people strong, within the coming decades. To skeptics, it's absurd science fiction. To Musk, it's an insurance policy for humanity. He often refers to the Great Filter, a concept in astrophysics and philosophy describing the stage in evolution that civilizations typically fail to pass, suggesting that most civilizations either destroy themselves before they become interplanetary or are wiped out by external events. Musk wants to help humanity pass the filter. He has said, "I want to die on Mars, just not on impact." While Starship is in development, SpaceX's other program, Starlink, is already reshaping the planet. By launching thousands of low-orbit satellites, Starlink aims to provide high-speed internet to underserved regions across Earth. In times of war, disaster, or censorship, Starlink has proven to be a resilient communications tool. It played a critical role in Ukraine during the Russian invasion, helping keep government and defense systems online amid attacks. This blurred the lines between private innovation and geopolitical power. Musk, through his companies, began influencing international policy and security. Critics argue that such influence in the hands of a single individual is dangerous. Musk's decisions, whether about internet access, free speech, electric vehicle strategy, or AI development, affect millions, even billions. His opponents call for more regulation, more oversight, and stronger checks on his power. Musk responds with disdain, often suggesting that bureaucracy stifles innovation and that centralization of power in governments is more dangerous than in market-driven entrepreneurship. And yet, Musk is not above mistakes. His ventures have seen layoffs, recalls, lawsuits, and technical failures. Tesla's full self-driving feature has been under investigation. Neuralink's animal testing procedures have drawn ethical complaints. The Boring Company has been criticized for overpromising. His tweets have sparked lawsuits and misinformation concerns. But each time, Musk seems to absorb the blow and keep moving forward. He thrives on high stakes. He thrives on chaos. His management philosophy seems to be forged in fire: survive or be destroyed. He surrounds himself with engineers who can execute at an impossible pace, and he often tests their commitment to the mission, asking whether they are truly on board for what he calls the hard path. He has little patience for bureaucracy, and even less for people who don't believe in the core mission. And what is that mission? In Musk's own words, to make life multiplanetary, to preserve the light of consciousness, to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy, and to ensure that artificial intelligence does not become a threat. Musk's vision is not confined to a single industry or time frame. It spans decades, even centuries, with goals that stretch beyond the lifespan of any one individual. He has often said that he doesn't want to be remembered merely as a businessman or inventor, but as someone who helped chart a new course for human civilization. To him, our species is at a crossroads. One path leads to stagnation, decay, and possible extinction. The other path, though difficult and uncertain, leads to expansion, adaptation, and survival among the stars. Yet even as he pushes forward with interplanetary ambitions, Musk remains deeply involved in Earth-based concerns. Tesla's mission to reduce carbon emissions and accelerate the shift to sustainable energy continues through its electric vehicles, solar energy products, and battery storage systems. Tesla's gigafactories now operate globally, churning out millions of electric vehicles and countless battery cells. The company's autopilot and full self-driving software aim to create a safer, autonomous transportation ecosystem, though critics remain concerned about safety, legality, and over-promising. Musk's involvement in artificial intelligence remains nuanced. Though he helped found OpenAI to promote ethical AI development, he later expressed dissatisfaction with the direction the organization took. He argued that OpenAI had become too commercialized and opaque. In response, he founded a new venture, xAI, in 2023. Its goal was to create AI systems that sought truth, aligned with human interests, and promoted transparency. In true Musk fashion, he linked xAI with his existing companies, integrating the system with Twitter and forming a network of overlapping capabilities that bridged social media finance, AI space, and transport. By 2025, Musk's portfolio of companies covered nearly every major axis of human life. How we move, Tesla, Boring Company; how we think, Neuralink, xAI; how we communicate, X; how we power the world, Tesla Energy; and how we escape it, SpaceX. He was no longer just a CEO. He was an ecosystem. But with that scale came unprecedented scrutiny. Musk's every move was followed by governments, investors, academics, activists, and the public. His tweets were dissected. His decisions were litigated. His companies were investigated. He was criticized for his handling of COVID-19 policies, for downplaying the virus early in the pandemic, for reopening Tesla factories against state orders, and for spreading controversial medical takes online. His political views, once somewhat ambiguous, shifted toward vocal support for free speech absolutism and criticism of progressive ideologies. He aligned himself increasingly with libertarian and right-leaning voices, drawing praise from some and condemnation from others. Even the way Musk viewed democracy came under the spotlight. He began endorsing certain political candidates, calling for changes to voting systems and challenging government institutions that he believed stood in the way of innovation. Some viewed this as a dangerous concentration of influence. One man wielding not just wealth, but direct power over media platforms, communication tools, and public discourse. Others argued that Musk was simply exercising the same civic rights as anyone else, just on a much larger scale. Through all of this, Musk continued to work at a furious pace. He appeared in interviews, podcasts, and factory tours, answering questions in technical detail that most executives would delegate. His knowledge spanned physics, thermodynamics, programming, neuroscience, orbital mechanics, manufacturing logistics, and more. Even critics had to concede Musk wasn't just a face or a figurehead, he was the engine behind many of his company's innovations. But he was also deeply flawed. Former employees described him as brilliant but impatient, inspiring but intimidating. He could switch from motivational to volatile within minutes. He micromanaged obsessively. He held grudges. He fired people impulsively. And yet the culture he created, especially at SpaceX and Tesla, was one of unmatched urgency, one where failure was tolerated, but hesitation was not. He called it the hardcore mode of work, and it attracted top talent from around the world, people willing to sacrifice comfort for the thrill of building something no one else dared to attempt. What makes Elon Musk unique is not just his wealth or intelligence, but his willingness to bet everything over and over on long shots. He sold his houses and lived in a modest prefab box near the SpaceX launch facility. He poured his PayPal earnings into companies that nearly went bankrupt, He launched rockets that blew up. He released products before they were fully finished. He challenged industries that were thought to be untouchable: automotive, aerospace, energy, telecommunications, social media, and he did it all without asking for permission. Musk has said many times that failure is not only an option, but a necessary step toward success. This philosophy runs through all his ventures. His companies prototype quickly, fail publicly, and iterate faster than regulators can catch up. It's a style of leadership rooted in engineering, not public relations. And it's one reason why his followers are so loyal. They believe that despite his flaws, Musk is actually trying to solve the biggest problems facing humanity, not just create the next app or consumer gadget. There is also the simple fact that Musk believes in scale. While other entrepreneurs build billion-dollar businesses, Musk thinks in trillions. While others plan 5 years ahead, he imagines 5 centuries. He doesn't want to slightly improve life on Earth. He wants to reinvent it and spread it to other planets. And he knows that to do that, people must believe in something bigger. Musk doesn't just sell products, he sells purpose. Teslas are not just cars, they're a vote for sustainability. Starlink is not just internet, it's infrastructure for a future interplanetary web. Neuralink is not just a brain chip, it's a tool for cognitive survival. And SpaceX is not just a rocket company, it's the ladder to the stars. Yet even those who opposed him were forced to reckon with the scale of his accomplishments. Under Musk's leadership, Tesla produced millions of electric vehicles and fundamentally shifted the global auto industry. Legacy automakers, once dismissive, began rapidly developing EVs of their own. Governments around the world implemented new electric infrastructure and offered incentives to catch up. Musk hadn't just made electric cars desirable, he had made them inevitable. SpaceX, meanwhile, redefined aerospace economics. The company's Falcon 9 rocket became the workhorse of space launches, ferrying satellites, supplies, and astronauts into orbit at a fraction of the cost of traditional systems. Reusability, once dismissed as impractical, became the new standard. Starship's testing, though volatile, was historic in scope. The sheer mass and power of the vehicle surpassed anything ever built. It was designed not just for space missions, but for interplanetary migration. Musk spoke frequently about building a self-sustaining city on Mars, complete with manufacturing facilities, food production, and thousands of inhabitants. To many, it was science fiction. To Musk, it was insurance. Earth, in his view, would not remain safe forever. Whether from war, climate disaster, AI uprising, or natural extinction events, the planet was vulnerable. Humanity, to survive in the long term, needed to diversify its location. But his Martian ambitions did not eclipse his goals on Earth. He continued to drive Tesla's energy initiatives, scaling solar panel production and home battery systems. Powerwall and Megapack units were deployed across homes, businesses, and utilities, enabling distributed, decentralized energy storage. His aim was to eliminate fossil fuels, not just in cars, but across the entire grid. In parallel, Starlink expanded internet access to remote and underserved regions. Its implications were global. It allowed schools in rural areas to connect, gave disaster zones access to communication, and disrupted authoritarian efforts to control information. The cost of global connectivity dropped. Internet became not just a service, but a right. And yet the burden of this transformation rested on a single human being, a man who often seemed on the brink of burnout. Musk rarely took vacations. He claimed to dislike luxury and leisure. He described his work as pain, as pressure, as an obligation to act where others wouldn't. In his interviews, he vacillated between intense focus and philosophical melancholy. He talked about his fear of the future, his despair at civilization's fragility, and his hope that maybe, just maybe, we could build something enduring. By 2030, the world had changed in ways Musk had predicted, provoked, and accelerated. Electric cars dominated roads. Reusable rockets were common. AI systems managed logistics, language, and design. Underground transport tunnels began appearing in major cities. Brain-machine interfaces were no longer theoretical. Mars missions were scheduled. And the richest man in the world was still sleeping on factory floors, tinkering with code, and warning of existential threats. Was Elon Musk a genius or a tyrant, a savior or a disruptor, a man of vision or a man of ego? The truth lies somewhere in the contradiction. He is both the builder and the breaker. He is the futurist who reinvents the present. He is the billionaire who claims to care more about civilization than money. His failures are as grand as his successes. His personality is as divisive as his mission is unifying. But above all, Musk is relentless. Where others stop, he begins. Where others rest, he works. Where others ask, he acts. His worldview, radical, optimistic, and ruthless, has carved a path that millions now walk, whether they admire him or not. If the story of the 21st century is one of reinvention, of how humans adapt to the collapse of old systems and the birth of new ones, then Elon Musk will not be a footnote. He will be a chapter. He has been called many things: the real-life Tony Stark, a tech messiah, a corporate tyrant, an eccentric genius, a danger to democracy, a hero of the future. But perhaps the most accurate label is also the simplest: a man who refuses to wait for tomorrow.